Hey guys, welcome to a new video. Today we're going to be going over the SERP checker, also known as the local SEO tool. Now, if you're not doing local SEO, you could still be using this tool. It's actually very, very effective. But I just kind of wanted to go over it and show it to you and kind of explain it, just in case if anybody wants to end up using this. So I'll leave a link in the description for you if you want to use this, but let's more importantly get into the actual video and the contents, all right? So what this SERP checker by Mangools is, it's essentially going to, based on a keyword term that you're going to search, it's going to present the results of who essentially is currently ranking for that keyword and the details around their domain, okay? So let's go ahead and jump right in. So you can see here, there's a keyword here. It says 12 eggs a day testosterone. That's a long tail keyword. You can see here the country that we're checking the SERP in, and of course the device. All right. Here we have keyword difficulty, which basically is just their algorithm of kind of understanding who's ranking for that keyword, or basically how difficult it is to compete for that keyword. And then here we have the SERP features impact, which this basically just measures the how much of those features in the SERP, meaning things like domain authority and things like that, affect who actually ranks. And then, of course, the number of total results, which is pretty much irrelevant at the end of the day. All right. So let's go ahead and kind of continue here and break this down. Here you have all the different URLs. So here's position number 1, position number 2, position number 3, 4, etc. You know, you could go down the list. And here you have these little icons, if you notice. Like, for example, you have the eyeball here. And then you have this little, like, image kind of quote kind of thing here, which represents what is it called? The SERP... the snippet, there we go. I don't know why I couldn't remember what that says, but remember what it was, but there you go, it's a snippet. And of course you have the different here rankings, different positions for the blog, or for the blogs rather, that rank for that keyword. You have your, your title, right? You have the URL that encompasses that title, and then you have that list that goes on. And then here you have this number. This metric is referred to as the link profile strength. And we'll kind of explain what that is. But essentially, the link profile strength is very, very close to, and I'll just read it. It's overall link profile strength of the URL developed by Mangools, which is their way of testing domain authority. That's what it comes down to, link profile strength. Now, if we look here, okay, here's domain authority, which is different. Right? If you notice, the number is different. What my opinion of this is the link profile strength is Mangools' understanding of how strong this link is, meaning the link to essentially to the blog, right? So you could see here for my blog post, which is in position number 4, they gave me a 1. Right? So link position strength is position 1. And you could see here, overall link position strength of the URL developed by Mangools. So what I did here was I actually searched, what does Mangools clearly define as link position strength? And instead of me explaining it, because I did say it's kind of like domain authority, let me just go ahead and read it, and then we'll kind of further explain. It says very clearly here, when they describe what keyword difficulty is, it says, in the beginning, we calculate the overall link profile strength, the LPS, aka this number right here, right? And they say, it says, of every URL on the first Google SERP, it's based on a widely used Moz metric, which is domain authority and page authority, and majestic metrics, citation flow, trust flow, etc. So what this number is, right? This number is, you could say, an average, maybe not even an average. Maybe you could just say it's an amalgamation, because really an average represents a mathematical formula. It's an amalgamation of 4 metrics: domain authority, page authority, citation flow, and trust flow. Domain authority and page authority are developed by Moz, not by Majestic, okay? Majestic, they give you the details after. So really, it's just kind of like a made-up number. They don't pull it out of the sky, but they do use other metrics kind of to define it. I really wouldn't worry too much about it. I would pay more attention to domain authority if that's something you want to track. Okay, it says here, once we have the LPS values, we calculate the keyword difficulty into account. We take both high authority and low authority URLs into the first SERP. It's because the low authority ones can outrank the others to their relevance. This is actually very important, and I feel like I should have a different video on that. But anyways, let's just keep it going. So here is that number. That number represents the amalgamation, not the average, but the amalgamation of those 4 details, okay? Or those 4 metrics. And then, of course, you have domain authority. So domain authority is developed by Majestic, okay? And you could actually see here a ranking score, well, clearly on the other page it was developed by Majestic, but this one is by Moz. And then here you have page authority, which also created by Moz. Now they have citation flow and trust flow, which is developed by Majestic, okay? Who it's developed by doesn't really matter. The point here is the data, okay? And the data shows that, you know, certain domains, like if you were doing keyword research, and this is the whole point of how to actually use this, if you're doing keyword research, you want to look at the different websites that have different domain authority rankings. So this one's at 87, 66, 19, 100, YouTube, obviously. Skip mine for a second, act as if mine never existed, right? And you see like 32, 14, 70. So the numbers are all over the place. With something like this, the keyword difficulty is probably going to be lower, right? Because you got high and low domain authority numbers. And that's true, it is, right? Then you have page authority. Page authority is typically not too far off from domain authority, okay? A lot of the times, the domain authority is based on the amalgamation of the page's authority, right? So you could see here, the domain authority on menshealth.com is 87, but for this specific page, it has low authority. It has 54 compared to the 87, right? 54 is much lower than 87. If you were to give a random website like mine with no authority, a 57 authority, it would be a lot. But everything is, I guess you could say, pertaining to its own. Page authority of 54 pertaining to its own of 87 is pretty low, okay? But regardless, you can kind of see the data here, and that's kind of important to be aware of, okay? And then here, finally, you have your Facebook shares, which once again, a lot of the times Facebook shares don't mean anything because a lot of the times people don't actually use Facebook in a way that helps them through SEO. So I'll give you an example. A lot of people will buy their Facebook shares, okay? That is meaningless. It's worthless. It's not even important. Why? Because if you buy your Facebook shares, Google's not seeing that any influx of traffic coming in from the referrer of Facebook. If true traffic is not coming in from the referrer of Facebook to Google, then the Facebook shares are irrelevant. Here we have WPR, which stands for World Website Popularity Rank, which is just simply how popular the website is. Of course, you can sit and read what they're kind of mentioning, but this is what it comes down to, right? And they actually, to kind of be more considerate, it says considering the number of unique users and number of page visited or viewed on each visit, okay? Kind of interesting to look at, but at the same time, smaller websites are not going to have any data, and these are all just simply made by algorithms. I would focus more, if I were you, on the links, the domain authority, and of course the number of external backlinks here. This is important because you want to get a kind of an understanding of what's going on with these sites. How are they getting so much domain authority? Where is this domain authority coming from? You could see here this website called drcoliathus.co.uk, whatever it is here. They have a domain authority of 19, and they have one link that is external backlinked. If I was me, I would look into this and say, why is that? What's going on here? What are they doing that that's interesting? I would click on their website, which is actually what I'm going to do, and I'm going to research this. I'm going to look into this. It might be something valuable for me to look into, and I might want to use the information here, link to it, and provide more resources. So that might be interesting. Anyways, but that is genuinely important. That is very important, though. And that's overall an understanding of how can you get more domain authority over time. Because at the end of the day, even though I've said this before, you don't need to go out and buy backlinks, but you're going to have to acquire them somehow. Whether you're creating good content and you're getting backlinks, or whether you're buying them or you're building them, that's good. Don't make the amateur mistake of going to Fiverr and buying backlinks. That's not going to help you. That's going to hurt you. Okay, and I'm warning you now, because if you do it, there's nobody who can come save you from a situation like that. Okay, anyways, let's go ahead and continue. The number of referring domains. So the number of referring domains is a representation of how many domains are referring to this link, right? So if you, for example, let's say have a blog post, okay? If you have a bunch of links that are linking into that blog post to other blog posts, those are the referring ones. Then we have here the RI. The RI is the referring IP. The referring IP is pretty interesting. I really wouldn't care about it whatsoever, and I'll explain why. I've said this before, but if you have a website and it's linked if you have multiple websites and they all share the same server, that is essentially the same IP. I mean, not essentially, that exactly is the same IP. And what happens is, and this is once again why I kind of go so hard on WordPress, and people who do use WordPress don't understand, that you're not getting a deal when you put multiple WordPress profiles on the same server. Because if the server gets infected, then every single WordPress site gets infected as well. That's not much of a win. In fact, you're setting yourself backwards. So at the end of the day, once again, I really wouldn't pay attention to a lot of these metrics. What I would pay attention to is very clearly the ranking of these websites, their domain authority and page authority. Maybe I'll look at the links, maybe even referring domains. But I really wouldn't pay attention too much to anything else, really. All this other kind of stuff is extra nuance, not too important to me. I would be hyper-focused on, like I said, the domain authority when that kind of comes in. So I'm just sharing with you guys what I would personally do. And I would also obviously care about keyword SEO difficulty. I'll be honest, a lot of the times these metrics are off. Sometimes a keyword is much, much more difficult to rank for than what it says, and sometimes it's much easier to rank for what it says. It could be at a 60, which is, a little bit harder than medium level, but it's easier to rank for than a keyword that's at 20-something. So it just depends on the situation. Obviously, these are machines. They can't give you exact, truthful data. The algorithms, they don't really know what the Google algorithm is based on. We have some understanding based on what Google tells us, but we don't know for a fact, and we don't know for sure exactly what they are as a checklist format. So we kind of, as, people who use softwares and the software creators themselves, we kind of have to, take educated guesses is the best way I could say it. It doesn't sound too fancy, but that's essentially what we have to do to be able to move forward. And that's pretty much it. Okay, guys? So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video around the SERP checker here with Mangools. And it's really made for local SEO once again, but you could still use it for your own SEO, even if you're creating a blog, all right? I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching, and peace out. Bye.